Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be comparing the all-new Chevy Silverado Trail Boss to the all-new Ford F-150 Tremor. Before we get into this video though, I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo and the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with both of the trucks. Going to include a link to their websites in the description down below. And by the way, both these trucks are available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Well, let's start under the hoods of both of the trucks. So starting with the Tremor, we have a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque. You can also get a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 under the hood, but it has significantly less torque than this 3.5 EcoBoost. Now, popping over to the Trail Boss, we have a naturally aspirated 5.3-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 13 around town, 17 on the highway. Power outputs 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque. You can also get a 6.2 V8 with 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. You can also get a diesel under the hood as well, and you can also get a 2.7 4-cylinder. So you have a lot more engine options when it comes to the Trail Boss compared to the Tremor. If you guys are wondering, my favorite powertrain is between the 6.2 V8 and the Duramax with this one. I haven't driven a 5.0 Tremor yet, but it's just going to drive like a regular F-150 with a 5.0, so I'd still pick the EcoBoost, and that's under the hoods. Let's go to the front ends of both of the trucks. So with the Trail Boss, we have just over 11 inches of ground clearance. With the Tremor, we have just under 11 inches of ground clearance. Now, stylistically, they both look really cool. We have this cool accent piece here on the hood with the Trail Boss. And then you guys can see everything's pretty much darkened on the front end of the truck to just make it look super aggressive. Notice we've got those red tow hooks there at the bottom. There's actually fog lights there at the bottom as well. Skid plate protection underneath here with the Trail Boss. And then going over to the Tremor, you guys can see you've got the accent pieces there on the hood, which look really cool. We have these cool LED daytime running lights, and then we've got gold accenting here with the Tremor. Notice with the tow hooks as well. We've got that bash plate there at the bottom, skid plate protection underneath with the Tremor, and there's the fronts. Now quickly popping to the sides, you guys can see here we've got our tire and wheel setup of 275 70 18 here with the Tremor, and then 265 60 20 over with the Trail Boss. We've got a 2-inch lift here with the Trail Boss Rancho shocks, and then with the Tremor you actually have monotube shocks up front and then twin tube in the rear, fixed side steps. No side steps here on the Trail Boss. They both utilize leaf springs in the back. There's those Rancho shocks, by the way. And then you guys can see the whole twin tube shock setup and leaf springs here in the back of the Tremor. Notice Tremor sticker, and then we have Trail Boss sticker right there because, you know, you got to have stickers with both of them. Here are the key fobs for both of the trucks. You guys can see Ford key fob and then Chevy key fob. Functionality on both of them is identical, so I guess we'll quickly lower down the tailgates on both ends. Well, the Chevy tailgate lowered, but I guess I didn't press the Ford one enough. There we go, now it popped down. This one has the multi-pro, so this turns into a step situation. You got the grab bar with that, and then you guys can see here with the lights in the back, we have a full outlet as well. Now with this one, you do have to lift it up yourself. Popping over to the Tremor, you guys can see pretty much the same situation. Lights, outlet, all that, cargo light, everything. And then if we actually pop this, actually pops up and got a bed step. So both of them have like bed step situations. Now in terms of the rear styling, with the Trail Boss, got the bumper steps, got the cool exhaust tips, and you know, again, everything's pretty much all blacked out. And then same thing here with the Tremor, obviously got the gold badges and everything. Notice with the exhaust tips, dual exhaust tips, just like the Trail Boss. So again, lots of stylistic similarities. Okay, so now we're gonna pop inside both of the trucks so you guys can see the interiors. So here is the Trail Boss, got that double stack design with the armrest. And then this particular one does have cloth seats. Notice you got the behind the seat storage, which is pretty cool, and under seat storage as well. And then you guys can see that whole setup, and then contrasting that with the Tremor. Now this isn't a perfect comparison because this is a fully loaded Tremor. There's a pretty big price difference between them. So you guys can see here with the difference in material use. And then this one has the, well, I got to pull the strap to pull this down. So it has these full upgraded leather seats, and both of them are pretty similar with the space in the rear. Got the heated seats there, down below outlets, all of that. And so yeah, let me know which interior you like better, and again, understand there is a big price difference. Now quickly going over the front of the Trail Boss. Again, you guys can see with the whole door panel design, all of our window controls here, and then quick look at the mirror. And then again, we've got the cloth seats here in the front, and you can get leather seats with the Trail Boss package. Notice our power adjustments, and quickly pop in to show you guys this whole setup here. So you guys can see here with the steering wheel, really nice padding all around. Paddle shifters here in the back actually for the 10 speed. And then you got stuff like your cruise control, controls for the center stack. And then actually off to the side, notice our drive line select and our drive mode select with our tow haul mode. And then you can see here with the light controls. Now as for the drive modes, you have an on-road mode and an off-road mode. and you do have the tow mode too. I like how it actually is a Trail Boss though for the icon. But yeah, full digital gauge cluster as well. And then if we pop it into reverse, this particular one just has the regular backup camera. You can get a 360 camera with the Trail Boss if you so desire. As for the rest of the infotainment system itself, response time, if it'll load up. There we go. Response time, as you can see, really good. Has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We've got the shortcut bar there. And then we do have this like auxiliary screen off to the side. And then we have a bunch of buttons down here. The main thing for off-roading, hill descent control, right? And then we got trailer brake controls, and then dual zone climate, heated seats for the front. We have a shifter here in the center. And then you guys can see the space, wireless phone charging pad. Then we have double glove box situation, which is pretty neat. And then no sunroof or anything like that in this particular one. And then also the rear glass is fixed. And well, let's head over to the Tremor. Okay, so popping over to the Tremor, you guys can see here with the whole door panel design, very Ford-like, am I right? Blind spot warning in the mirrors. And then here are these seats. Now with the base Tremor, it doesn't have like the full leather seats. You have like inserts in the seats and everything. These are the fully loaded seats. Power adjustments here. And then popping in, notice we got our light controls there, pedal adjustment, all that. And I noticed a lot of similarities actually with these trucks. So first off with the steering wheel, got the cool contrasted stitching. Controls for the center stack. Look, you got adaptive cruise control, that normal stuff. And then we actually have this full digital gauge cluster here in the center, just like what you have over there with the Silverado. And we have a bunch of different drive modes we can go through with this. So main stuff here obviously is like your rock crawl mode for off-roading, and then you got like the mud ruts, and then we do have a sport mode all the way on the other side, but there's tons of different modes in between. It's a cool thing about the new F-150. And then this one has Ford's upgraded infotainment system. So first off, you can see we've got that 360 camera system. It's not going to be fully perfect because I have the door open, but yeah, it's a great camera system. I would say that it's pretty equal with Chevy system. I do like some things with Chevy system a little bit better because it's got like wheel shots and everything a little bit better. But anyways, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Functionality on this infotainment screen is basically the same as the Chevys. It's just a little bit larger. And then we have heated, cooled seats here, dual zone climate controls. And then here's our drive line select. So notice that's all the same. Now you guys can see we have a rear locker here that you can actuate. With the Trail Boss, it has the G80 system, which automatically locks the rear end for you. And then we've got a shifter here in the center, just like the other one. Center console. And then you guys can see the glove box setup right there. I love the trim here on the front. This one has a panoramic sunroof. We got a bunch of auxiliary switches there up top for auxiliary items. Power setting rear window. And there you go. Now again, this isn't a very good comparison, but this is pretty much all we can do right now with supply issues. So this one stickers for about $74,000 and this one stickers for about $60,000. Let's take them out, drive them, and then quickly sum things up. Let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear, and well, let's just set right off. Now, I do need to say that I'm on a little bit of a time crunch today, so I am using this point of view drive to cover the comparison video with an F-150 Tremor and the regular review for this Trail Boss. I assume that, you know, some people are gonna watch both videos, but a lot of people are probably just gonna watch one or the other. So it should be fine, but sorry if you have to watch the driving impressions 2 times in a row. Sometimes it just happens like this. Dealerships close and Ben Hardy still can't wake up in time. It's an ongoing problem. But anyways, setting off in the Trail Boss. First off, I love how substantial this truck feels. Again, that 2-inch lift really helps out. Let me tell you, 2 inches makes a difference. And you know, it's cool to see the hood bulge. It definitely does get in the way with visibility a bit, but you know, I'm fine with it. I don't think it's too much of an issue. I think it's something you can definitely get used to. And if you spend a little bit of extra money, get the 360 camera system, then you've got a cool front camera and everything that completely mitigates having that hood bulge. And rush hour traffic. I'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna get a little acceleration here with the Trail Boss. Woo! V8 power. Now, you can get a couple different powertrains in the Trail Boss, like I mentioned earlier. You can get a 6.2 V8, you can get the 3.0 inline-6 Duramax, you can also get a 2.7 turbo. Now, the powertrains I like the most, Duramax and the 6.2 V8. With the 6.2 V8, that one's definitely the quickest because it has 420 horsepower. But the Duramax has just as much torque and will actually have more torque than the 6.2 V8 for the 2023 model year. So that one's definitely a fun powertrain. Again, that torque is addictive. Now, I want to go through here to kind of show the suspension because I'm going to go over some bumps. I just want to see how stiff the truck feels. And I also want to see what the turning radius is like. Pretty decent. Now I will say something I've noticed about these Rancho shocks, and I have taken, I haven't taken a Trail Boss off-road, but I have taken an AT4 off-road, which is a Trail Boss just with GMC clothing. And the thing I've noticed with the Rancho shocks is when you go over, like here's another little bump thing I can go over. Like when you go over little bumps, the shock stays pretty stiff, so I'm guessing that's to help out with handling with the truck. But when you have big compression, it's actually pretty squishy. So these are pretty similar to like Bilstein shocks with how they actually act in the real world. So what that actually does is it helps out with handling on this truck, but it does make it so this truck has kind of like a less squishy feel on road and kind of a slightly stiffer feel when it comes to the on-road driving dynamics. Seat comfort, these seats definitely are pretty firm in the Trail Boss. It's just kind of like a Chevy thing, is to make firmer seats. And this is where the front camera would definitely come into play, squeezing into a spot like this. But overall, I love how this drives. This feels kind of like, it gives you kind of like an old school pickup truck feel. Like it has modern technology. Again, you have this crazy digital dash situation, but with the driving dynamics and with the four-wheel drive system, it's a little bit more on like the old school side of things, which I kind of like, and I think a lot of people will also appreciate. And so you just got to decide if that's kind of the route that you want to go. But there's our quick drive in the Trail Boss. Well, let's talk about visibility here in the F-150. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both of the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And well, let's set right off. And I don't need the air conditioned seat. It is nighttime now. It is cool enough that I do not need to get my butt cooled. But anyways, first off, setting in the F-150. The thing that's really strange about the new F-150 is it still is like, you know, has pickup truck height and everything, but it definitely feels a lot more car-like than it used to. And especially like the new Lightning, I've driven the new Lightning a few times. That really does feel like a car, but it just happens to be a pickup truck. So it's just crazy how technology is advancing. And I know some people might see that as a negative. I see it as a positive because it means that this rides really well. Yeah, those shocks, I like the feeling. Tons of torque out of this EcoBoost right off the bat. And we actually got a sport mode in this thing, so we're gonna use it today. There we go. Got that sport mode activated. Puts it into four-wheel auto for the sport mode. I do want to mention seat comfort in the F-150 is so good. The leather seats are really soft and just comfortable. And yeah, I just really appreciate them. And something I do want to mention, quick disclaimer, is I did run out of time filming today, so I wasn't able to film 2 different driving videos. So I'm using this driving video for my Tremor versus Trail Boss video. I'm also using it for my Tremor review. Sometimes it just happens to be that way. But anyways, I'll get back to you guys once this traffic clears up. So let's get our acceleration here with the Tremor. Whoa! Oh man, that EcoBoost, or should I say EcoBeast. See, you know what? I remember when people used to crap on this powertrain, and now everyone loves it because not only is this powertrain reliable, but it is so fast for a truck. It's crazy. It's just boom, and you are up to speed. Now we're gonna go through this parking lot here because I want to see how squishy or not squishy the Ford suspension is. And something to mention is the F-150 feels pretty light on its feet for a pickup truck, which which is definitely a big plus. Let's go over this. Ooh, super squishy. Yeah. So this is something that I've noticed with just the new F-150 platform, but also with how Ford tunes the shocks for their F-150s, is they make it so it's pretty squishy. There is more body roll because of that, but I would rather have body roll and squishiness and ride comfort than stiffness, right? That's just my personal preference. So setting things up here with the F-150 Tremor, I think it looks great on the outside. Interior is really nice. Obviously this is fully loaded. Even if you don't get the fully loaded Tremor, if you get the I already forgot the package number, but the 01A instead of the 02A equipment group. Man, you think that after reviewing a bajillion F-150s that would have everything memorized, but you know. Anyways, if you get the 01A, it still is like a really nice truck with the interior. Still has a bunch of nice features, but it's not nearly as expensive. I think that's the route to go if you're gonna get a Tremor. This is still fantastic, but $74,000 is a lot of money. I mean, that's the MSRP of what my Gen 2 Raptor was. And this is really cool, but it's not a Raptor. So yeah, definitely love the new Tremor. It's extremely capable off-road. And if Ford, if you're happening to watch this, you should send me out a Tremor so I can take one off-road officially, because yeah, it'd be pretty cool. It'd be fun. I think people would appreciate it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. So to sum things up with this whole video, both of these are extremely capable when it comes to off-roading, and I've actually, you know, taken several Fords and several Chevys off-road, and yeah, they're extremely capable. It's pretty dang crazy all the stuff that you can do. And so you move from that to the on-road driving, and the Ford does drive a little bit better on-road. It's a little bit more comfortable, but it's also $14,000 more, so it better be a little bit more comfortable. Now, this comparison obviously would have been a lot better if it was the ZR2 versus the Tremor, but this is what we're dealing with. And so here's the deal. I think this ultimately comes down to personal preference. Do you like the looks of the Ford more, or do you like the looks of the Chevy more? Because, again, ultimately, they both have pretty similar features. Again, if this was not this loaded up package on the Tremor, then it wouldn't have all the features this has, and it would be pretty similar packaging wise to the Silverado. So features are pretty similar, and with the Tremor, it's almost always more expensive no matter how you package it compared to the Chevy. I guess that Chevy's just undercutting Ford when it comes to price. So yeah, it just depends on which one you like the looks of a little bit more. And if you're not going to take either of them off-road, they're both going to be really good on-road trucks, but I want you guys to let me know which one you would choose out of the bunch.